Now, let's go to, I want to say we've covered this. Let's go to where the Most High is speaking to Cyrus. Let's deal with, let's deal with verse 5. I'm the Lord and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am the Lord and there is none else. I don't know where to tell you, but you need to go look up the word none. Most High said there's none else. There's none besides him. So if you know someone besides him, you're a bad man. Okay? So the Most High speaks clearly of his singularity. All right? And you need to understand this. Verse 21, Isaiah 45 reads. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and go to Isaiah 45, verse 19. As he has stated before, he shows you the end and the beginning. So let's look here. Verse 19 states, I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare things that are right. Assemble yourselves and come. Draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. Because some of us are going to get away from this stuff. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image and pray unto their God that cannot save. 21. Tell ye and bring them near, yea, let them take counsel together. Who have declared this from ancient times? Who hath told of it from that time? Have not I the Lord? And there is no God else besides me, a just God and a Savior. There is none besides me. He is redundant. Let's look at verse 22. We're in Isaiah 45. Verse 22 states, look unto me. He didn't say look unto us. Okay, look unto me and be ye saved, all the ends of the earth. For I, singular, am God, and there is none else. It doesn't get any clearer than that. All right. So we have covered some of these things pertaining to the oneness of the Most High. We can look at we've looked at some of the important aspects of it. I've showed you where, I've spoken to you about the counsel of the Most High, and we want to look at everything else. Let's look at Isaiah 30, verse 1. Because I told you earlier that, the black think tank, they seek counsel of everyone else, but they don't want to seek counsel of the Most High. That'll get you killed. Let's read chapter 30 of Isaiah. Woe to the rebellious children, that is the house of Israel, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. So in other words, we're trapped, piling up sin upon sin. Why? Because we would like to listen to anyone else, but we don't want to listen to what our daddy got to say. Imagine that. We're the sons. All right? Now, if you're a man or a woman, you know good and well, if you had a father in the house that's a good father and did his job to protect you and to teach you and to give you counsel and to instill proper laws in his house that you will obey and turn out to be what we call a productive citizen, if you will. You know when you made that mistake and went against the laws of your father, of what he had taught you, you paid for it. You paid for it. Okay? And if you found yourself in some trouble, whose counsel did you seek? Hey, Dad, look, I need you to look. You're going to call him. You're going to seek counsel from him. Okay? And this is your earthly father. It is no different with the Most High, who is your heavenly Father. Okay? We're not seeking counsel from him. We need to. Okay? Because when we don't seek counsel of him, then we're seeking counsel from someone other than him. And that's always going to be the wrong counsel every time. And so that's where Israel is at this point. We're seeking counsel, but none of it is of the Most High. We're talking about therapy. We need to dress in a certain way. That way we don't get shot. We need to speak a certain way in order to be accepted, etc., etc., etc. We can do all those things. Like I said before, we can go and stand, all of us can go stand butt naked in a field and stand motionless. And our enemies will still kill us. You've got to understand that the only way out of this thing is to return to the laws of the Most High. That's how we're going to return unto Him. There is no other way. All right, so let's keep this in mind because that's it. Now let's read. Let's read the book of Isaiah 34:16 before we get ready to close this out. 34:16, the book of, like I said, the book of Isaiah is a heavy book. There's a lot of stuff in it. A lot of, not stuff, let me use it. A lot of knowledge in here, but that's what you lack. Okay. Did I say Isaiah 34 and verse 16? Let's go to that. All right. It states here, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. Now, understand this. Most brothers don't read. Couldn't name you the book that they're reading right now. They simply don't do it. And if they start reading, they're rusty, meaning you read it, but you don't really have a total grasp of what it's saying. So we must read. None of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth, for my mouth it has commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. In other words, what the Most High is telling us, Israel, is you want to seek him, start reading, start studying. All that he has said will come to pass. None. He didn't say some of them. There was no maybe. One thing about the Most High, once you get to know him, that is a confident being. You understand? Ain't no ifs, ain't no buts, ain't no maybe. There is no perhaps. All right? It is definitive with him. There's no wiggle room. None. So he's telling you here to seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. None of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. So get in this book and read it and understand the protocols of the Most High. He is one. He does not lie. He does not change. He gives you the beginning from the end, and he does nothing unless he reveals it to his prophets. All right? He is upfront. He is frank. Ain't a bunch of riddles. Okay? So keep in mind when you read this book, I can go into the New Testament and show you lies upon lies. How do we know it's a lie? How can we call it a lie? Very, very simple. It does not match the protocols of the Most High. It doesn't have his stamp on it. It does not have his signature on it. And yeah, he got his stamp and his signature in these pages. And if you know him, you know his protocol, you know his behavioral patterns, and you know what to look for, you can look at it and say clearly, this is not of the Most High. I know this is garbage. Though it's in this book. But you have to discern through reading. You have to discern through studying. You have to discern through returning to these laws, these statutes, and these commandments. And then all of these things become very apparent what nonsense is. And nonsense is that New Testament. Right out the gate. If you look at Matthew, like I said, the book of Matthew and the rest of them, you can read it for yourself. I'm not going to read that stuff. Like I said, it's nonsense. But you need to know it because you have to have something to compare it to. And you can see where they're drawing from the Old Testament to try to make the New Testament valid and to bring forth this idol. That's right. A lot of people are speaking on this great red dragon. Red Dragon is speaking all through the book in red back there, and some of them haven't figured it out yet. Okay? So the Most High is one. You can call him all these other crazy names you want to call him. All right? Just think for a second, Israel. Let's analyze this. Our oppressors, have they lied to us? Sure. Have they oppressed us? Sure. Have they murdered us? Sure. Do they continue to kill us? Sure. Why? We haven't returned to these laws. So now, we don't own any printing presses. There's a reason for that. So our oppressors printed this book. All right? But somewhere along the line, this book only includes nothing but Israelites. Someone had to come up with a spin to make this thing all inclusive, where everybody got in. This book, in certain parts, imagine throwing a party, right? And you invited certain people, and the one guy that you didn't invite, he's going around telling everybody that everybody can get in your party. That's pretty much what's happening in the back of this book. Okay? You have some people who know good and well they can't get in the party. They can't. It's clearly in here. But they're telling everyone else, hey, that they can. It's all inclusive all of a sudden. And once you understand the Most High's protocol, you will know who is who within the earth when you start reading and studying this. It is very apparent, it is very clear that this book is the book of the Hebrew people, of the Hebrew Israelites people. That's who it's for. It speaks to a few things. It speaks to a group of people, their God, their disobedience to him, the punishments he rendered to them, all right, and how he rendered it to them, and their ultimate return back unto him, and their ultimate restoration above all the nations of the earth. That's what this book boils down to. A group of people and their God. That's it. Them breaking his rules, him handing them over to their enemies. Now let's touch on that, their enemies, for a minute. In Deuteronomy, it is clearly stated that Israel will be handed over to their enemies. Okay? And they will serve their enemies for the want of all things. Man, that is so true. Most High, like I said, he doesn't lie and he's true to his word. And we are his witnesses. Why? Because we know this. For the want of all things. Think of everything you want. All right? And you will see that the people who run these lands, who have had us as slaves, we actually are dependent upon them for everything. Excuse me. Here's your example. You lay down to sleep. The bed that you sleep on, the sheets that are made, your people does not own that company. Don't make sheets, don't make beds or bed frames. All right? You wake up, you reach over and you hit the light switch. They own the power companies. Your foot hits the nice wooden floors that you walk on. He is cutting the trees down in the forest. He owns the lumber companies. You walk over to your sink to wash your face. You actually got to pay for that water bill. And you pay those people. You look into the mirror, he owns the company that makes the mirrors. You decide you want to brush your teeth that morning, hopefully you do that every morning. That toothpaste company, he owns that. The toothbrush company, he owns that. So you brush your teeth, you decide you want to use your restroom. You sit down on that bowl, he owns that company. You flush it, that water bill goes to him, you pay him. He controls the water system. The toilet paper, he owns the toilet paper company too. You understand? You go in the bag, you go decide you want to wash your hands. Hopefully you do that every time. That bar of soap, he owns that company as well. So you took your shower and everything, and you decided you're getting ready to go to work. All right? You grab your keys, you go to your car. He owns the car companies. You need gas to put in that car. He owns the gas companies. And then when you get to work, he owns the company you work for too. And after that, you get sick, you got to go to his hospital. If you need some drugs, i.e. medication, he owns the drug companies. All right? The Most High is taking all the power out of your hand. And you're a witness to this. And you have to be able to see. It's a beautiful thing. The Most High is a powerful being. When you see this thing, man, you can't help but pray, fast, and laugh. Really. Because you realize, wow, this is amazing. This is what's happened to us. How come all of us don't see this? Okay? So take heed to all of these things. And he has given us an out. Read Deuteronomy 30, he gives you an out. But we have to understand clearly that we have to read this book, and we will see once we start to read it, because most of us don't, we're still going on what we believe and what we think. Let's go on what we know. Let's go on know. The only way you're going to know something, you got to have knowledge of it. So let's get in this book and start reading, because there's a wealth of information here that specifically pertains to us. All right, so you get in there, you start digging, and you will see where we are dependent upon, quote unquote, our oppressor. All right, Isaiah uses the word oppressor. You go into in the earlier books, Moses using the word as our enemies. Okay, anyone that's going to oppress you is your enemy. It's really that simple. Your friends don't oppress you. Your friends don't hang you. Your friends don't shoot your sons in the street. Okay, your friends don't make laws to keep you below them. All right, so they're not your friends. It's never been the case. Uh, Now, keep in mind, sure, have some of these people who have oppressed us, have some of their children, some of them and their children have stood on the side of us for fairness. This is certainly the case, and we know this. But as a whole, the Most High says we have been delivered into the hands of our enemies. Okay, and you have to believe that because you live it and you are a witness to it. But most importantly, let's keep this in mind. Okay, think if we are the sons of the Most High, and the Most High says clearly that Israel is his son. Okay, Exodus 4:20.